Hello my lovely watchers, welcome back to Whispers of Turkish Stars. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a like so you never miss a heartbeat from the world of your favorite celebrities. Last night, Istanbul shimmered with a launch event that felt like the city itself had dressed up for a close-up, velvet ropes, a cascade of flashbulbs, and a red carpet that seemed to glow under the Bosphorus sky. It was an evening built for whispers and side glances. Yet among all the glitter and the names on the guest list, one moment took over the night and refused to let go: the electric encounter between Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda. Gökberk arrived first, unhurried and self-assured, the kind of composed presence that turns noise into background. He took the steps with quiet grace, offering a nod to photographers, trading a few words with reporters, never playing into the frenzy but never shrinking from it either. A tailored suit, a faint smile, a sense that he knew exactly who he was and where he was going. Minutes later, the energy shifted. Cemre stepped onto the red carpet, and a brightness followed her. Her smile was the kind that makes people forget what they were about to say. It pulled the camera lenses toward her like a tide. She moved with warmth rather than command, that effortless mix of poise and approachability that has made audiences feel, again and again, like they've known her for years. Then the glance. It happened so quickly that some doubted it before the replay. He turned, she looked up, and in the space between their eyes the whole room held its breath. Not long enough to be a scene, not staged enough to be a photo call, just that split-second meeting that sends 100 murmurs around a hall built for polished smiles. The cameras caught it. The microphones didn't need to. The air, all at once, felt charged. Backstage, while the host was warming up the stage, a production assistant spilled a detail that only fanned the fire. In a small circle of friends, Gökberk had joked, half laughing, that when he saw Cemre at the entrance, the room muffled, like somebody had pressed pause. It wasn't a line for the press. It was the offhand confession of someone surprised by his own reaction, shared too casually for a post, just honest enough to feel dangerous. A crew member swore she heard him say it, and by the time the story made it down the corridor it had taken on the glow of a rumor that people wanted to be true. The seating chart didn't place them together. This was no coordinated outing, no orchestrated arm-in-arm reveal. They were rows apart, separated by industry friends, brand ambassadors, and the inevitable entourage that fills the spaces between famous faces and actual conversation. And yet, the photos told a different story. Them leaning in near the lounge between segments, an animated exchange by the drinks table, a low laugh shared at the edge of a crowded corner. They were not in each other's pockets, but they were navigating the same orbit, and everyone could see it. It did not take social media long to do what it does best. Within minutes of the first snapshots breaking into the feed, timelines were stacked with edited clips and freeze frames. Are they teaming up for a new series? One caption asked, as if a camera test were hidden in each glance. More than friends or just a spark? Another insisted, threading speculation with hope. Fans took sides, but the trend did not. It sprinted straight to the top, or it stayed like a headline the night refused to let fade. It was as if the internet had been waiting for an excuse to imagine them in the same frame, and the evening gave it more than enough. Observers who kept a practiced eye on the room noticed the same small pattern. Through the speeches and the product cues, through the staged reveals and choreographed applause, Gökberk's path kept bending toward wherever Cemre happened to be. Not obvious, not clumsy, just the subtle drift of someone pulled by a quiet desire to be where the light felt warm. He'd pause to greet a director, step aside for a stylist carrying a gown, then find himself a few paces from her again, as if the evening had a gravity of its own. And Cemre, with that calm brightness, met the pull with a smile that felt like an answer you don't say out loud. The longer the night stretched, the more their silences seemed to be speaking. They did not share a table, but they shared a rhythm. He laughed more in those moments, the edges of his composure softening into something playful. She listened with that focused ease that makes a person feel like the only voice in a crowded hall. They were careful, but not cold. They did not pose together for the first hour, and still the photos looked like a sequence, a look, a step, a pause, and then a conversation that kept being interrupted by the event doing what events do, pulling people away and sending them back like tides. Behind the curtains and under blue stage lights, the whisper tightened around a single claim. Sources said they slipped into a quieter corner for a few minutes, away from the main flow, tucked near a doorway where crew members queued with headsets and cue cards. Nothing dramatic, nothing that could be branded as a scandal. Just a pocket of time where their voices dropped, their faces softened, and they seemed to forget the choreography of being seen. Friendly, yes. But friendly with an undertow, the kind of nearness that makes the ordinary feel like a secret. By then the feeds were flooded. Editors slowed the footage to catch the first look, fans cut together 10-second reels of matching expressions, captions became poetry in the language of maybe. Every angle from the balcony to the carpet became evidence, every shared smile a plot point. And yet the mystery held. It was not a hand held too long or a stolen kiss under a spotlight. It was a current. It was the energy of two people in a room packed with glitter, finding something that felt private in a place designed to be public. As midnight leaned in, the event began to fold itself up. The stage was cleared, the brand executives did their final lap, and the glamour slowly shifted back into traffic and late-night air. They did not leave together. That would have been too easy, and maybe too loud. Instead, there was one last look, grounded but glowing, as each made for a different car. He paused, a fraction longer than necessary. She tipped her head, a warm goodbye sharpened by unspoken promise. It was over for the cameras, but not for the echo the moment left behind. In the green rooms and corridors where the sound of applause turns back into chatter, the talk was relentless. They spoke for a while, someone said, a quiet few minutes that felt different. No hands, no recklessness, just closeness you could not ignore. A makeup artist mentioned a soft laugh that seemed to belong to a conversation only the two of them understood. A PR assistant rolled her eyes, but she smiled when she did it. Everyone wanted to be the one who knew more than the rest. This is the part where the city does the rest. Istanbul turns whispers into stories by morning. By sunrise, tabloids and fan pages were asking the same question with different punctuation. Was it just a friendly reunion between two admired names in the industry? Or the first step into something none of us were expecting but all of us would watch unfold? Comment sections read like diaries left open on the kitchen table. Some cheered for a new pairing, others guarded their hearts, but almost no one could look away. The images, and there were so many, captured something that numbers can't quantify but can amplify. A tilt of a shoulder held a world, the line of a smile could be both shy and sure. A glance could feel like a beginning even if no one had said a word. Clips crossed platforms, moved between time zones, and returned, reshaped and reframed, to the same set of hopeful questions. It was drama without mess, romance without declaration, chemistry without script. The internet does not ask for permission to imagine. It only needs a spark. There is something about the way Gökberk holds his calm that made the speculation believable without making it reckless. He is often careful, deliberate, respectful of distance, and yet last night he did not hide the glances. He let them be seen. And there is something about the way Cemre's brightness never overpowers her sincerity that turns a smile into a statement you can trust. Together, even without sharing a seat or a ride, they look like two people who let time slow for a minute in a room determined to make it rush. Maybe that is why this will linger. Not because they broke rules or shattered expectations, but because they reminded everyone that connection can be both gentle and thrilling, both subtle and undeniable. They gave a crowd built for spectacle a reason to lean in for something quieter. Whether it blossoms into a project we all can stream soon or into a story that belongs to them alone, last night gave us chapters without pages, and we are all trying to read between the lines. So that was Istanbul's glittering launch, distilled into a single charge between two people who did not plan it, did not announce it, and did not deny it with an empty pose. Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda left the party in separate cars, but not before a final exchange that sparked another wave of questions. Friendly or the start of something new? Professional curiosity or unmistakable resonance? For now, the only truth is the electricity you can see for yourself in the pictures everyone is sharing. It tells its own story, and it may be the most honest one of the night. Thank you for watching and for sharing your time with me here on Whispers of Turkish Stars. If you felt the spark too, drop a comment with your theory, hit like so more fans can join the conversation, and make sure you subscribe so you're the first to hear when this story turns its next page. Until then, take care, and I'll meet you in the next video, where the whispers always find their way to the light.